Welcome to the second session of our today's discussion on Introduction to Diploma in Meat Technology. I am Dr. Meeta Sinamapatra, lecturer, School of Agriculture, IGNOU. We have Dr. M.K. Saluja with us. He is the professor, School of Agriculture, IGNOU. We have already discussed about the general information of the diploma program in our first session, and in this session we will discuss in detail the course structure of the Diploma in Meat Technology. So I am repeating again the course structure outline of the diploma program. This diploma program in meat technology consists of 8 courses, each worth 4 credits. There are theory and practical components. The first course is about the fundamentals of food and meat science. Second course is about the meat animals and abattoir practices. Third course is about the fresh meat technology. Processed meat technology is discussed on the 4th course. And the 5th course is about the meat packaging and quality assurance. 6th course is about the poultry products technology. 7th course is about the utilization of animal byproducts. And the last course, that is the 8th course, is about the marketing and entrepreneurship. So I would like to request Dr. Saluja to inform us about the first course, that is the fundamentals of food and meat science.
Thank you, Dr. Meeta. The fundamentals of food and meat science, it consists of 3 blocks. Block 1 is biochemistry, then nutrition and microbiology. These are the 3 blocks in the course. At block 1, biochemistry, it consists of 5 units. The first unit is Introduction to Food Science, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, mineral, vitamins, hormones and flavonoids. So I will take one by one. The first block unit is Introduction to Food Science. It defines what is food, what are the functions of the food, then what are the nutrients, nutrient classification of the food and health. It gives all the points that what type of the functions the food is there. It has a physiological function, it has some social function and some psychological functions also. Nutrients, different nutrients, carbohydrate, proteins, vitamins. So it mentioned about those things also. How do we classify? There are certain classification of the foods like energy giving protein, body building foods, then the protective foods are there. Energy giving foods are the foods which are rich in carbohydrates and fat are known as energy giving foods. Bodybuilding blocks, bodybuilding foods, the foods which are good in protein are known as the bodybuilding foods. Then the protective foods, the foods which are good in vitamin, minerals and proteins, like all the fruit and vegetables, they come into this type of the groups there. Then it also covers the health point, that what are the symptoms of sickness, what is the good health is there, what is the social health, what is the mental health, what is physical health, what is spiritual health. The block has been, the unit is very well introduction to the food, particularly what we consume. Then the second is the carbohydrates. Second unit within the food science is the carbohydrate. The carbohydrates, its importance and function, then their role in the biological system, like they store the form of energy, protein sparing function. You will be surprised to know that if you take, sometimes we feel that we should not take much of the carbohydrates, but no, it is good for the nutrition. Because if you not take the carbohydrates, then whatever reserve proteins are there, that will be there they consume. Similarly, anti-ketogenic effect, that is the on the lipid, what it is there. So this explains the functions and the importance of this. Then classify and structure. The carbohydrates are classified as monosaccharides, disaccharides, polysaccharides. So it give the examples. The examples of disaccharides, like what is lactose, what is maltose. So it gives the structure and is there. The more important, very well in this unit is written about the clinical applications, like what is hypoglycemia, what is lactose intolerance, what is diabetes, and what are the other things like hyperactivity, dental caries is there. It also gives the dietary fiber, particularly their physiological properties and clinical association with the fibers. Nowadays, we always say that the food should contain good amount of fiber because there are very good advantages are there. It also gives the bulkiness to the food. So these things have been described into this unit. Then proteins. The proteins are the important in the food itself. What we say is the importance has been given to proteins. That's why it is said to come first, the meaning of proto. The functions are, they are tissue building. We say the proteins are for the growth and maintenance. This means they build the tissues. They have the physiological role also. They are the enzymes are there. The proteins, how does the protein consist of? The proteins, the building blocks in the proteins are amino acids. And then there are certain essential amino acids are there. We classify the proteins based on the amount of essential amino acids which are present into them. We say complete. Most of the protein sources, if they are animal origin, like meat, egg, milk, they are known as the complete because their composition of essential amino acids and the other amino acids are such that they are almost complete. But the plant proteins, they need complementation. Like example, when you take the cereal and pulses, the proteins which are deficient in one are made up from the proteins which are amino acids which are present in the other is there. So this is the protein. Then it also defines the meat proteins, their structure and classification, what are the type of diseases, application of the different enzymes, particularly for the clinical purpose and industrial purpose. So this protein unit gives the complete about the starting from the what is their function, what is the building blocks, and what are their deficiencies can cause the diseases. It explains. Then come the lipids. Lipids are the important function we were knowing. They give the energy. Then their thermal insulation, their role as thermal insulation. They also protect the vital organs, like adipose tissues are there where some of the important organs are protected. Then in cell metabolism, and then industrial use are also there of the lipids. How do we classify them? Into simple compounds and into compounds. Then the lipids in the biological is there, lipid and diseases. So this lipid covers the complete this. Then the unit on vitamins, hormones, minerals and biofilms. It covers the vitamins, water soluble vitamins, fat soluble vitamins, their function, what type of disease they prevent. Similarly, the hormones, role of the hormones, role of the minerals, and it is well explained in this unit. The second block is in this course is the nutrition. There are two important units into this: food digestion and assimilation, and food allergy. Now, food digestion, what does it cover? It covers what is the composition of the gastric juice or digestive juice. What are the hormones which are there in the gastrointestinal tract? Then how does the transfer of substances take place across the membrane? Digestion and absorption of new nutrients. Absorption of water, how does it take place? The absorption in the large intestine. So this unit gives the food digestion and assimilation complete when we take the food. The next is about the food allergy. We know that when you take the food products, there could be some allergy. It is actually im immune response to the food what we take. But somehow allergy is always associated with the negative things. But it is only a natural response to when we take any good food. And it is good that our body is saying that don't take much of the food. So it defines what is the food allergy, what is the allergic mechanism is there, what is the structure of this thing, what are the clinical manifestation of allergy, then how do you identify the things, how do you test the food allergies, what are the treatments are there for the food allergies. Then the next block is the microbiology block. It explains the important microorganisms in the food, microbial growth in food and its importance, and meat preservation. These are the three units in this block. Now, type of microorganisms which are present, we know bacteria, yeast, mold and viruses. Then foodborne diseases like infection. When we ingest the viable bacteria, we call them as the infection. Intoxication, when we ingest the toxin which has already been produced by the bacteria in the food, so we call them as intoxication. Similarly, there is toxin medicated infection is there, symptoms and preventions of the different foodborne diseases have been very well explained into this unit is there. Then type of important microorganisms in food and foodborne diseases has been explained. What are the sources of microorganism in food? It can come from soil and water, from utensils, from food handlers. And what are the factors affecting growth of microorganisms in growth? Like what is the pH, what is the water, what is the salt concentration, what is the role of temperature, what is the humidity. So those factors have been explained well. Then the pattern of microbial growth, how it will take place, and how to control the microbial growth, like particularly by the heat, by the cold temperature. So these things have been explained. Then the last unit is about the meat preservation. So principle of meat preservation and methods of meat preservation, like using drying, low temperature preservation, thermal processing, curing and smoking, salt and chemicals, fermentations. So these have been explained into this. And in the practical component, what has been demonstrated is been there that we have to estimate the moisture percentage, estimation of crude protein, determination of total lipid content, then the ash, calcium and different type of minerals in the biological samples, microbiological examination of the food, identification and counting of the bacteria, yeast and mold is there, then collection and transport of food samples, preparation of media, then inoculation techniques, then staining techniques is there. Now this is in the course 1. For course 2, I will request Dr. Meeta to explain in the detail please. Dr. Meeta please.
In course 2, we will study about the meat animals and the abattoir practices. This course will be dealt under the 4 block heading. First block is about the meat animals. Second block is about the abattoir practices. Third block is about the selection and handling of the quality meat animals. And the fourth block will deal the slaughter practices and meat inspection. The first block, that is the meat animals. This block is again divided into 3 units. First unit is livestock population of India and meat production. Second unit is species and breed of meat animals. And third unit will be the management of meat animals. Meat animals are those animals which are normally used for the purpose of meat production. There are 2 types of meat animals, the conventional meat animals and non-conventional meat animals. Conventional meat animals are popularly used throughout the country, like the cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, pig and poultry. Non-conventional meat animals are those animals which are not used for the meat purpose throughout the country, but in some regional areas these are used for the meat purpose, like the yak and mithun in the northeastern India and rabbit in southern India. In Unit 1, we will know about the livestock population of India, the present and past status of the livestock population, the population of each and every species like cattle, beef, sheep, goat, pig, poultry. and the total meat production, present and past status, demand of meat, export potential of meat, import threats, etc. In the second unit, we will study the species and breed of meat animals. From this unit, we will know about the home tract of the different species of meat animals, their physical characteristics, etc. Third unit is very important. This is the management of meat animal. Managemental aspect is very important because the meat quality is often influenced by the managemental factors. There are several managemental factors like the selection, breeding, day-to-day care, animal health and care, the feeding, housing, rearing, etc. And the next block will cover the abattoir. Abattoir is nothing but the slaughterhouse where the animals are slaughtered hygienically for the meat purpose. And abattoir must have the permission from local authorities. We generally see that in rural areas, animals are slaughtered on the ground under a tree, and in urban areas we can see the meat shops and the slaughterhouses. So for establishment of slaughterhouse, certain things should be kept in mind. This block is divided into 3 units. First unit is about the selection of site for an abattoir. This is very important. Site selection is very important because one has to consider the religious sentiment of that area where he wants to establish the abattoir, because religious sentiment of the people should not be hurt in any way to keep the peaceful communal harmony. For example, the slaughterhouse for pig should not be situated in a Muslim area, and the slaughterhouse for cattle or buffalo should not be established in a Hindu area. Then comes the permission. Permission should be taken from the local authority, and for site selection, certain things should be considered like the accessibility of the place, availability of the livestock, availability of the manpower, availability of the road or rail transport, then the soil structure of that area, ground level, electric supply, water supply, and the presence of any existing industries, pollution of that area and the existing buildings, etc. In the next unit, we will study about the plant layout, design and construction. For plant layout, this unit will cover different components of a meat plant like the resting place for animals, layerage, holding pen, slaughter hall, bleeding room, dressing room, deboning meat cutting room, the rendering room, offals room, packaging room, and detained meat room, condemned meat room, etc. The plant layout should be such that should be the facilities for the carrying out of human slaughter, carrying out of human and hygienic flaying, dressing, inspection, antemortem and postmortem inspection, laboratory for quality control, staff welfare, chilling storage, etc. Then comes the utility services and plant management. Here we will know that several utility services and the management aspect of the plant, like the manpower requirement, the role of different persons engaged in plant, like the role of plant manager, commercial manager, purchase manager, rendering plant in charge, etc. The next block is about the handling and selection of quality meat animals. This block has 2 units. First unit is about the selection, transportation and layerage of meat animals. Second unit is about antemortem examination and disposal of animals suffering from notifiable diseases. In first unit, selection is very important. For selection of the good quality meat animals, we have to consider the species of the animal, pedigree, breed, size, sex, the rearing system, the feeding system, the animal health care, etc. After the selection, the animals are transported to the abattoir. The animal may be transported by driving on hoof, by road tracks, by rail wagons, by flight, etc. Whatever may be the mode of transportation, certain things should be kept in mind. The species of the animal, the length of the journey, the time of the journey, the condition of the transport vehicle, the environment around the animals, etc. And then the animals are kept for resting in a layerage. The place is called as layerage, where they are kept for resting but feeding and watering should be there, so that the people can overcome the glycogen depletion, which is very important for the maintenance of the good meat quality. Next unit is the antemortem examination. Antemortem examination means the examination or inspection of the animals before slaughter. Mortem means slaughter. Before slaughter examination, it is very important to discard the diseased animal from the food chain. There are some diseases like anthrax, brucellosis, rabies, etc., which can be detected out in the antemortem examination, and depending on that, the judgment will be the animals are fit for slaughter or unfit for slaughter, the animal should be detained or suspected, etc. And then comes disposal of animals suffering from notifiable disease. There are various notifiable diseases like anthrax, rabies, plague, brucellosis, etc. The animal should be, if they suffer from this type of disease, after antemortem examination, they should be disposed of properly by burial method or by incineration method. The next block is about the slaughter practices, slaughter techniques and meat inspection. This is again divided into 5 units. First unit is about the slaughter practices. Here we will know about the different slaughter practices. There are 2 main slaughter practices. One is human slaughter, another one is ritual slaughter. Ritual slaughter are mostly religious slaughter. Just like the Muslim slaughters the animal as per their halal method. Sikh slaughters the animal as per the Jhatka method, and Jewish slaughter is followed by Jews. In case of human slaughter, where the animals are first made unconscious by the process of stunning, then slaughtered. This is the human approach to the animals. There are several types of human method and stunning method, just like the captive bolt stunning, physical stunning, chemical stunning by use of carbon dioxide, and the electrical stunning by electrical stimulation, etc. Then you come to the dressing techniques and carcass yield. There are various types of dressing techniques. Main dressing technique is rail dressing or line dressing, where the animals are dressed on overhead rail. This is very hygienic. Various rail techniques are there, just like the intermittent powered rail system, continuous powered rail system, can pack system, gravity rail system, etc. We'll know about the advantages and disadvantages of these various dressing techniques. The third unit is about the utilization of offals, maybe the edible or inedible. What are the offals? Offals are mainly the byproduct, but we specifically use the term offals for the visceral organs like the heart, liver, lung, spleen, kidney, etc. They should be utilized properly. The edible offals and inedible offals depend on this classification depends on the purchasing power of the consumers or the socio-economic status. Then comes the post-mortem examination. This is also very important because there are some diseases which cannot be detected out in the ante-mortem examination, but they can be detected out in post-mortem examination. In this unit, we will study the different aspects of post-mortem examination, like the purpose of post-mortem examination, facilities required for post-mortem examination, the principles of post-mortem examination, the procedure for post-mortem examination of different species animals like cattle, beef, buffalo, pig, sheep, goat, etc. And depending on the post-mortem examination, certain judgment can be taken, just like the meat passed for human consumption, meat unfit for human consumption, meat should be detained, meat should be sold under the special conditions, etc. Fifth unit will deal the meat-borne diseases and zoonosis. There are some diseases which can be transported through the agency of the meat, just like the disease brucellosis, tuberculosis, certain parasitic diseases like Taenia solium infection, that's Taeniasis, Taenia saginata infection, trichinellosis, etc. And we should take care of this meat-borne zoonosis, because the handlers, the butchers, the veterinary doctors who are exposed to the meat animals, they may contract the disease from the meat animals, and the zoonotic diseases are those diseases which can be transported from the animals to human being and from the human to animals. So the third course, that is the fresh meat technology. This will consist of three blocks. First block is the structure of muscle and composition of meat. Second block is about the quality of fresh meat, and the block third is about the storage of fresh meat. The first block, that is the structure of muscle and composition of meat. Before going to that, I am explaining the term fresh meat. Fresh meat is that product which has not undergone any further processing, but which has undergone only the process of physical and chemical changes following the slaughter. So this course will handle the fresh meat only. The first block, the first unit is about the structure of muscle and composition of meat. We know that meat is primarily composed of muscles and variable common quantities of connective tissue, epithelial tissue and nervous tissues. So we have to know the structure of muscle to know the meat quality and keeping quality of the meat. We will also study the structure of skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, smooth muscle, and we will know how these muscles are organized in the animal body in this unit. In the second unit, we will study the process conversion of muscle into meat. If anybody takes muscle from a dressed animal immediately after slaughter and cook it and consume it and says that he is taking the meat or he is eating the meat, I must say he has a wrong idea, because he is not taking the meat, he is taking only the muscle. Because the flesh of the animal does not convert it into the meat immediately after the slaughter. It takes long time. It undergoes the process of chemical and physical changes like the extinction, the bleeding, the loss of homeostasis, then rigor, onset of rigor, then resolution of rigor, conditioning, etc., through which muscle is converted into meat. The next unit, that is the third unit of this block, is about the composition of the meat. Here we will know the composition of the mammalian skeletal muscle, because the composition of muscle will be reflected in the composition of the meat. Here we will also know the composition of different species meat like the mutton, goat meat, beef, pork, chicken, etc. And from this unit we will know the different components of muscle proximate composition like the meat protein, meat fat, carbohydrates in meats, water percentage in meat, minerals present in meat and the vitamins. Next block is about the quality of fresh meat. This is very important because the ultimate users of the meat are the consumers, who judge or appreciate the meat depending upon the quality of the meat, and processors choose the meat processing technology according to the meat quality. Different people mean quality differently according to their needs or expectation. So the meat qualities are those characteristics of the meat which can meet the expectations of the wholesaler, retailer, processors, ultimately consumers. This block has 4 units. First unit is about the factors affecting quality of meat. Second unit is about the characteristics of meat, pH, tenderness, color, water holding capacity, texture. Third unit is about the meat cutting and grading, and fourth unit is about tenderization of meat. In the first unit, that is the factors affecting quality of meat, we will know about certain factors which will affect the quality of the meat. Before that, we will know the different quality of the meat like the functional quality, eating quality and wholesomeness. Functional qualities are like the pH, water holding capacity of the meat were very important to the processes, and the eating quality of meat are the tenderness, texture, color, flavor, appearance, juiciness of the meat, which are very important for the consumers. There are certain factors which can affect this quality like the animal factors like species, breed, sex, age of the animal, rearing, feeding system of the animal. Then comes the managemental factors, and then ante-mortem handling and post-mortem handling. Second unit will deal about the characteristics of meat, pH, tenderness, color, water holding capacity and texture, and we will also know the factors which will affect these qualities. These qualities are interrelated. And in the third unit we will know about the meat cutting and grading system. Meat cutting is very important because here we will know about how to cut the meat carcass into different primals, subprimals or retailed cuts, and what should be the ideal cutting procedures, what are the facilities should be there for cutting of the meat, and then we will know about the grading of the meat, where we will cover the grading according to the quality or yield of the animal. Then we come to the tenderization of meat. That is very important, because the tenderization means the making meat more tender. That is the desirable criteria for meat. Here we will study different methods of tenderization, the effect of tenderization of meat quality, different methods of tenderization like the pelvic hanging, tender stretch method, meat cutting method, conditioning, cooking, using of enzymes, chemicals like calcium chloride, and marination, etc. In the next block, that is the third block, is about the storage of fresh meat. This block has two units. First unit is about the handling and transportation of the fresh meat, and second unit is about the chilling and freezing storage. In first unit, that is the handling and transportation, very important, because we know that meat are very perishable in nature and get spoiled rapidly if not stored and handled properly. Because from the time of production up to the consumption, every moment meat is exposed to different environment which may contain the physical, chemical or microbiological contaminants which may cause the spoilage of the meat. So handling is very important, and during transportation certain things should be kept in mind, like the vehicles, condition of the transportation vehicles, the specification for various species meat existing in India, and the storage. In storage, care should be taken, because for microbial spoilage, neutral pH of the meat, higher moisture content of the meat, and richer nutrient source as meat will be leading to the microbial spoilage. For that, maintenance of low temperature is very important, and chilling and freezing are two common and popular methods for storage of meat. We will know about different aspects of chilling and freezing storage, the several methods for chilling like quick chilling, slow chilling, freezing, quick freezing, slow freezing, blast freezing, plate freezing, etc. And the advantages and disadvantages of this chilling and freezing system, shelf life of the meat in the chiller and freezer storage, and also the chemical and physical changes which take place during the chilling and freezing storage of the meat. So, now I am coming to the fourth course, that is about the processed meat technology. This course is having two blocks. First block is about the principle of meat processing. Second block is about meat products. In first block, there are 4 units. First unit is introductory unit, which will deal the general principles of processing of meat products. Meat processing is not the gift of the modern civilization only, because we know that it has been started when the primitive man learned that salt can act as preservative, or smoking and cooking can prolong the shelf life of the meat. Since that time, the art of meat processing is handed down from generation to generation. Only difference is that with the advancement of the technology, the processing methods are changing day to day. Here we will know the different principles of meat processing, the purposes of meat processing, the advantages of meat processing, ingredients used in the processing of meat, and the restructured meat, intermediate moisture meat, fermented meat products, etc. in this unit. The purpose of meat processing is changing from time to time. Earlier it was aimed at the production of improvement of the quality, keeping quality and taste of the meat products. Then the idea was shifted to the modification or upgradation of the low value meat cuts. And nowadays the concept is the production of the convenience and fast food products. In the first unit, we will know about all the aspects of the processing, the general principles like the mixing, cutting, curing, smoking, etc. Purpose of the processing. In the next unit, we will cover the curing and smoking method. Curing was primarily meant that the addition of salt. But now for curing, we use many various chemicals or additives. Curing is done to give the product characteristics, flavor, and prolong the shelf life of the meat product. And smoking is primarily done to give the appearance of the smoked product of flavor. But at the time of smoking, some degree of cooking is also done. Some examples of cured and smoked product are ham, bacon, sausages, etc. Third unit is about the meat additives. Meat additives are those substances which are not naturally present in the meat but added to the meat directly or indirectly in certain phases of meat processing. They may be preservatives, emulsifiers, binders, extenders, and colors. Preservatives are those substances which are added to preserve the meat quality, the meat keeping quality. There are various preservatives like the curing agent, the antibiotics, the chilling agent, etc. Then comes to the binders, which will modify the functional property of the meat, like the soya protein, egg protein, etc. Then extenders, which will extend the amount of the meat, that are the wheat flour, and the flavoring agent like monosodium glutamate, coloring agent, etc. All these are additives, and we will know about all these in this unit. The fourth unit is about the economic formulations. We know that any one of these additives cannot satisfy all the desirable criteria in the meat. So we have to select a number of additives depending on the raw materials availability, food safety concern, the consumer's preference, etc. Our main objective is to provide the quality hygienic meat products at affordable prices to the consumers and a profit to the processors. For this, a careful working out of the inputs and outputs are very important, and that can be achieved through the economic formulation, cost formulations of that product. Cost formulation is very important for the success of the meat processing industry. Now we are coming to the experimental aspect of this course 3. There are 6 experiments. First is product formulation, second is preparation of meat emulsion, third is preparation of patties and sausages, fourth is preparation of convenience meat products like nuggets, meatballs, patties, kebabs, meat rolls, meatloafs, etc. And fifth one is preparation of meat pickle, sixth is processing of smoked ham and bacon. Then I will request Dr. Salvija to discuss the 5th course.
Thank you, Dr. Meeta. The 5th course is packaging and quality assurance and sensory evolution. It consists of meat packaging and quality assurance. It consists of 3 blocks: packaging, sensory evolution, and quality assurance. Now we have seen the packaging has brought lot of revolution to the food processing or any industry. Earlier we used to use only the paper type, but the plastic material, these things, and the type of the packaging machines which are available, the different type of packaging materials and different shape, size, or the packaging has really revolutionized the convenience to the consumers. So the packaging consists of the unit, 4 units are there. What is the packaging and its importance, type of packaging materials, then the retail packaging, aseptic packaging and bulk packaging, then the new packaging techniques like vacuum packaging, modified atmosphere packaging, then packaging of different types of fresh and frozen. Like to give you more examples, particularly in first unit, packaging and importance, it starts from the historical, that how the packaging used to be there in early, then how it has grown with the emergence of the plastic, particularly the low density polythene, high density polythene, then the different type of packaging materials there, co-extruded films are there. So how this has become a real science is there. Then the packaging can be a marketing tool also, that how it is helpful, what are the function of the food packages, and what is the design could be there for the different type of the products is there. Then unit 2 is the type of packaging materials. As I mentioned from earlier, from the paper, wood, we have transformed into the low density polyethylene, high density polyethylene, then different type of laminates, co-extruded films are there, then what type of flexible packaging materials are there, then semi-rigid and rigid packaging materials. So what type of this which could be used for the products, and many of the new products which are coming, even if the traditional products are packed into the new type of packaging materials, it gives lot of value addition to the things. The example, particularly if you go to the fruit and vegetable shop, and you can see in Mother Dairy the bananas are packed into shrink wrap is there. So this type of innovations can be done at a rural level by the local entrepreneur is there. Then next is the in the packaging is the packaging and their bulk. What is the different type of packaging, like what is retail packaging, what is bulk packaging, and what is the aseptic packaging, where the shelf life of the product is very for long time. That is, it is packed in the controlled conditions, a type of sterilized environment, you can preserve it. Then the meat products, they need very controlled atmosphere for packaging. What is vacuum packaging, what is modified atmosphere packaging, what is the packaging for the fresh meat, for the frozen meat, for the cured meat and the cooked meat, all type of products which are prepared, which Dr. Meeta mentioned we will be learning in the course 3 and course 4. So the packaging for the different products are different, materials are different, how do we do it, so those details have been given to this course. Then comes the second component, is the sensory evolution, because as Dr. Meeta mentioned, the ultimately test lies with the consumer, that how do the consumer takes the product. So this unit gives you the importance and block. Sensory evolution has been structured into 3 units: importance and application in processed products, then testing conditions, scoring parameters, and how third is about the selection and training of panelists. Let us see what is given in the first is there. So first unit will explain what is the sensory evolution is there, how does it is there, what are the different 5 senses what we use, and particularly which sense is more important. And then in processed meat, then how do we apply this sensory evolution, then product characterizations, and how do you different type of sensory panels are formed, and who can be the sensory panelist. Particularly in meat also, and all the food products, it is becoming very important. You must be aware, like tea testers, wine testers are there. In meat also, when we constitute the form a panel, particularly for selection, for the sensory quality of the meat products, it is very important to know the things. Similarly, what are the sensory parameters? So it gives you the how do you structure the evolution room, then meat samples, number and preservation of samples, what is the time appropriate for the sensory evolution. So this unit gives about this. Then how do you rank, and different type of panelists are there. There are different type of tests are there, and we train them, like hedonic scale is there, ranking test is there, descriptive test is there, and then the selection for the consumer panel is there. The last block is on the quality assurance. As I mentioned, in this course, one of the main objectives is to improve the quality and to ensure that the quality is for the export level, quality is from change from the unorganized to the organized sector. So this block consists of 3 units, particularly importance and general condition for hygiene, then plant sanitation, how to do them, maintain, then product sanitation. These are the 3 units are there. So in the unit 1 is about it's covered the role of hygiene and in the production of clean and safe meat, food safety, quality assurance in meat and meat products are there. So these are in the second unit we explain about that, as I mentioned, HACCP system. These are explained. So this covers the 5 courses, and I think with the limited time, we are able to cover the 5 courses. The next in our teleconferencing, we will be covering the other 2 courses in detail, course number 7 and 8, where the focus is on marketing and entrepreneur is there. So to conclude that the course consists of 8 courses, and we have covered the detailed structure of up to course 5. I think Dr. Meeta, you can add up anything in addition.
No, sir. Actually, we have no time to cover all these courses.
So
Rest of the course we will discuss in the next session.
next is there. So if there are some questions or some is there, it is welcome. Otherwise, the as I mentioned, as Dr. Meeta mentioned, it is of 32 credits. There are 8 courses are there. The theory and practical have been well integrated into these courses, and it covers from the good meat practices, like how to maintain hygiene for clean and safe meat production. Then it also covers the microbiological aspects, then the type of handling of the fresh meat, handling of the processed meat is there, then how to pack it, how to ensure the quality, and then it goes to the marketing and entrepreneurship. Thank you very much.
Thank you.